As the rate of COVID infections continue to drop across America, workers are actually starting to trickle back to the office at the highest rate since last March. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, data is showing that the number of workers returning to traditional office space has been edging higher since the week of Labor Day, when an average of 31% of the workforce was back in 10 major cities. Labor reporter for the New York Times, Noam Scheiber, spent time with one big law firm that brought its lawyers back to the office in the middle of the Delta surge and discovered that for younger workers, FaceTime is essential. Gene Robinson, I read this on the Sunday Business Times and went, duh. But at the same time, there was this belief a year ago that not only the laws of physics changed forever and the laws of healthcare have changed forever with the pandemic, but the laws of actually what works in business has changed forever. At the end of the day, whether you're talking about blacksmiths in the Middle Ages or mergers and acquisition lawyers in 2021, apprenticeships are a pretty good thing. Younger workers learning from more experienced veterans like yourself. That if you want to get ahead at work and become better at what you do, you can't do that in your apartment at home forever.
Well, you can't, but I think we need to define what being back is actually going to look like, because I'm not sure it's going to look exactly like it used to. I'm not sure the norm is going to be everybody coming in, 5 or 6 days a week together. Period. I think there's going to be more flexibility. Right now, certainly, I think younger workers are demanding more flexibility, and they're getting it because firms are afraid of losing talent, and so we could be 4 days a week, 3 days a week, but I think we're going to see a whole lot more of that becoming normal, and we'll think of that as perhaps normal in the future. There will always be a place for coming into the office, but maybe not every day.
Yeah, Caddy, I'm curious what your thoughts are. I can tell you if my children, grown children, ask advice on, hey, should I work from home or get in the office? I'd say get in the office, be with the team, learn from people around you, be around people who have done this job before. And get that FaceTime. I understand from everything I'm reading in papers and everything I'm hearing on TV, that just may not be happening anymore. And younger workers are going to be demanding more time at home. If that's the future, that's the future. But I still think the people that are in the office are always going to have an advantage.
Yes, my 27-year-old just got a job doing video production, and it's all going to be from home. He was meant to be in a studio. That's not happening yet. They may go in a little bit incrementally. As his mum, I'm kind of worried that it might be a bit lonely for him sitting at home, and I do think for these younger workers who aren't going in, they're not meeting their fellow colleagues, let alone learning from people at the top. They're just not meeting people. There's no interaction, so that's sort of lonely. But they're also saying we don't want to go in, and I think this is Gene's point is right. It's a question of how much. I think that model of going in 5 days a week, working from 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening, that's just never coming back. One of the things that all those people that are quitting jobs, and record numbers of them in America quit in August, are saying is we don't want to do that anymore. Technology has shown we don't have to do that. So I think firms are going to have to get to some sort of 3-day-a-week model, and they're going to have to figure out how to have that human interaction and that mentoring process in that 3-day-a-week model, 3 or 4 days, but it's not going to be 5 days a week.
3 days a week. It sounds so French. I don't know that that's ever going to happen in this country. Again, I understand that right now, at this point,
they'll be working the other days, but.
Well, I mean, maybe that's going to work. I don't know. I will say, Willie, one of my concerns, I can only speak for our own team here. One of my concerns has been isolation. That if you read Noam's article, he doesn't just talk about professional advancement. He talks about younger workers who are excited to get back, to be part of a community, to not be isolated in their apartments. And when the Delta variant hit, I mean, we're very fortunate. People in our business can do their work from home. And we found out very quickly producers, bookers, editors were able to do great work from home. But there is also, though, the isolation of just being at home, working at home all day. There's also that aspect of it, too, that I thought was so fascinating in this piece where younger workers were like, yeah, of course I want to be here. I want to be around people. I'm tired of being at home by myself. And
it's been a long time at home. I like, though, that we're kind of quietly advocating for a return of the 3-martini lunch and a siesta. I think we can all get behind that. That'd be nice for everybody. But you're right. It's about more than your profession. It's about your personal life as well. And if we read from Noah Scheiber's piece titled "To Get Ahead at Work, Lawyers Find It Helps to Actually Be at Work," that's what the piece is called. He writes this: "For the firm's middle ranks, the brass tacks calculus tilted somewhat more in favor of office time. As it happens, the most valuable currency for any associate are hours spent working on client business, which are both a measure of productivity and a way for young lawyers to learn their trade. At most large firms, associates have formal quotas for billable hours, typically 1,800 to 2,000 per year. Those who want to be promoted tend to focus on accumulating these hours. The catch is that few first-year associates enter a firm with work awaiting them. For this, they are largely at the mercy of the senior associates and partners who dispense it. And how exactly does one land assignments from these colleagues? Turns out there's no more reliable way than, well, showing up." So, Mike Barnicle, there are a lot of things that will change the way we work. I was talking to somebody yesterday who said, yeah, I don't need to fly to Chicago for that 30-minute meeting anymore. But being in the office, especially as the piece gets at, as a young person and being in front of people who are mentors, people who are bosses, impressing them in some way, I think that's the way all of us remember rising up the ranks. And especially now, when a lot of people are not coming into work, if you have that opportunity as a young person to come in and fill that vacuum and fill that void and be at the side of your boss and prove yourself, seems like a lot of upside to me.
You know, Willie, I think nothing is more important in this day and age than socialization. And when you realize that we live in a nation and a culture where socialization often means that your closest friend, your most intimate advisor, friendship, whatever, is the screen of your phone, it's important to show up to work, to see other human beings. There's no substitute for that, whether it's 3 days, 4 days, 5 hours a day for 3 days, doesn't matter. There's no substitute for human contact. You lose something in terms of who you are, in terms of what you do when you're isolated in your home. It's just a belief that I have long held, even though I don't like to work more than 3 days a week.
Exactly. Mika, and Ann does have him on an allowance that includes 4 really good Boston Red Sox tickets. So, Mika, we heard in the story about the lawyers, and if you're around, and I know this as a lawyer, sometimes, you know, you'd get a good case by people, by a senior partner running down and looking to go, hey, you, the guy with the big nose, your name, what's your name?
Yeah.
Joe. Here, take this, finish this for me. I'm going to the courthouse. I'm going to come back, have it done by then. You do a good job. You get more cases. Your story that we told on 9/11 talked about how you got down to 9/11, and how you got down to 9/11 to report there for a couple of weeks is you showed up early. You went there early because you wanted to see if there was anything at the assignment desk. And it's the same thing. We talked about it with the law. Also the same thing with media. If you're around the newsroom, if you're there waiting when news breaks, they may see you, even if you're new like you were, and they go, hey, we got a story. Get out there. If you're around, that happens. Now, again, I want to preface this by saying we understand that we're still in the middle of the Delta variant, so we're not saying people need to get into work right now. We've even told our people, stay away until you're comfortable coming in. But when we have some sort of return to normalcy, if you want the law, if you want the case, if you want the story assignment, being in your apartment may not be the best way to get that.
Yes, but I think there are a couple of different dynamics going on here. There are those who are looking for growth, and there may be, in some industries, one way to get it to be there, but in others, it may not be that important. I think we will see a shift in our society because of technology that allows companies to give the option to have that flexibility. And for women, that flexibility is incredibly important. While women went through a very difficult time during the pandemic, especially, and they really bore the brunt of a lot of this, I've done 2 Know Your Value events in the past several weeks with up to 500 women in the room. Number one, it felt too early, actually, to be doing events. We were very careful about them, but it did feel too early. This pandemic is still here. And so getting companies back in right now is going to be tough. Beyond that, I spoke to the women and I asked them, how many of you like remote? And I was all prepared for the answer no. And all of them raised their hand, practically. They love remote. And I asked why. And women got up to the microphone and said, because I can get so much more done. You cut that commute out. I'm able to do this and that while I'm doing this and that and work extra, which women like to do. They always work extra for the same amount of time that men put into the office. But my point being, I'm not sure that's actually the greatest answer. And I said that in real time. Like, I'm not sure I want you doing all the housework and more work at work. Like, that's not the greatest answer I've ever heard, but that flexibility is so important to women. And it's something that this pandemic has shown is possible, that you can be in 2 places at once. And there's nobody who needs to be in 2 places at once more than women.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.